Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias.
Time for a Twofer Tuesday. For those who are unfamiliar with it, Twofer Tuesday was an open tag that began with Tom over at Knife Delights. Today, what I'm going to be doing is looking at two knives from the 30th anniversary series from Rough Rider. That's right. Rough Rider is currently celebrating its 30th anniversary, 1994 to 2024. So really they're into the 31st year already. But before I get into the knives, I just wanted to show the sticker that I recently got from SMKW, and that is Saint Bowie, patron saint of blades. I saw this sticker in the box and I just cracked up laughing. I could not believe they did this. But you can see what it is. Jim Bowie with his big old Bowie knife, dressed up like a saint. I know there's probably a few people out there who might find that offensive, but I saw it and I just cracked up laughing. I couldn't help myself. Behind that sticker was another sticker. This is a Rough Rider sticker, always built by hand and backed for life. I'm not exactly sure when they picked up that phrase or their catchphrase for that, but it has been around for at least 5 years. They're still using it today. This was a sticker from the 25th anniversary, so back in 2019, because we're up to 2024 for their 30th anniversary. Let's move on to the two knives, and the two knives I have are the Cub Lockback and the Teardrop. Now, the way the box comes is in this cardboard sleeve, and it's not a box, it's a tin. So they're using a tin for the 30th anniversary. You've got the little cardboard sleeve around there that has the 30th anniversary logo. On the back of the box, you'll find the model number for the particular knife. And then you have the tin, and you can see that. Here's the back side of the tin. This is what the blade edge will look like, and then 30 years, the Rough Rider brand has the following tradition, blah, 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 and then we have this. You'll see all this in the slideshow. So those are the tins, and these are the two knives. I have, like I mentioned, the Cub Lockback and the Teardrop. We'll start with the Cub Lockback. Really well made. This is the 10th Rough Rider Cub Lockback I had. Well, actually the 10th Cub Lockback that has been made by SMKW. I have a couple by Colt, I have a couple by Queen City, and then several that are in the Rough Rider lineup. I do not have every Cub Lockback, but I have quite a few of them. In any case, the cool thing about the 30th anniversary is no big R. And we have also gone back to the spelling of Rough Rider with an I. As you can see, for the 25th anniversary, it was Rough Rider with a Y. So they used that spelling with a Y for about 5 years. That was the original spelling for Rough Rider with the Y, and that was back when the knives were being made in Ireland. And then they switched over to Rough Rider with an I. They're back to Rough Rider with an I. A couple people keep asking about that. In any case, you have the badge shield going on here, you know, kind of like a policeman's badge or something like that, with the double R. And in between there, what you have is a little diamond. That's what you have. There is no numbering this time. It doesn't say 30 or anything. So that's pretty cool. This shield also is the exact same shield that you will find in the Bluegill series. So the shield is being used in more than one place. What you have is the diamond checkering here, or the gun stock checkering is what you'll also hear it sometimes referred to. It's kind of like the checkering that you find on the handle of like your M1911 .45 automatic. Also the checkering you find in some spots on a gun stock, like on a lever action rifle or something like that. So, and this is, I would consider this like a chestnut bone or a brown bone, whatever way you want to call it. Nicely dyed on both sides and nicely matched. The shield, in my opinion, is a little big for this knife because it is such a small knife, but I get it. They are using the same shield throughout the series, so it is something that ties the series together, along with the blade edge, which we'll get to in a minute. You got the half stop on this, and then it opens. It is the Cub Lockback. It's also known as a squirrel hunter, at least by me. You got the little forward finger choil. Fits my hand nicely. I really like the Cub Lockback. This is just an excellent little box cutter, or whatever else you want to use it for. Action on this, you know, I don't know if you really need a half stop on a knife with a backlock like this, but they did put it in there. And to me, I wish they hadn't left out the half stop, but I'm not a big fan of half stops to begin with. You have a little bit of swedge up on the front there, which is pretty cool. I don't mind that. And then you do have the blade edge, which is like a gold tone blade edge. I know a lot of people are probably not crazy about the blade edge. Well, polish it out if you want to. The thing about the blade edge is they are doing this as a celebration of their 30th anniversary. So these are somewhat a commemorative knife. This is something they're doing to commemorate the 30th anniversary of Rough Rider. Now, some people, they're not going to be able to afford to buy the whole series, so they have a wide selection of knives, so that if you're a Rough Rider fan and you can't afford to buy for the whole series, you're not going to be limited to just buying a Trapper, for instance. You know, the number one knife out there that people buy, the Trapper. You might only be able to afford one or two knives, which is fine. Especially if you're a big Rough Rider fan, you can't collect them all. Collect one or two. You'll want the blade edge. Other people are just going to say, I really like the knife, I'm going to use the knife, I don't need the blade edge. Well, if you don't need the blade edge, but you just really want a gun stock bone like Squirrel Hunter or Teardrop, then, you know, go out there, use the knife, wear off that blade edge naturally, or get your polisher and polish it off, because I'm pretty certain you can polish that off if you want to. You can see it right there. It does look more like a pad stamping than an actual etch into the blade. I could be wrong. But in any case, the knife itself is fairly well made, you know, typical of a Rough Rider. You can see there the blade is not 100% centered, but I have yet to see a Cub Lockback that has the blade hitting the side. And like I've said, I have at least 10 of these that were made by SMKW in the Rough Rider factory. These just a little adorable knife. I love these little knives. Great little box cutter, which is and also a knife that is not going to make anyone's go, oh my gosh, he's carrying a deadly weapon, even if it is a lockback. But it would be illegal to carry in England simply because it is a lockback. That's just the way the law is. And there's several other places where a lockback might be, well, a locking blade might be illegal for you to carry, so you may not be able to have that. Next up, we have the Teardrop. This is a frame that I really like. There is a slight sway to this too. If you can see right there, there's a bit of a bend here, a little straighter on the top. So it's usually referred to as a teardrop, but if you look closely, you will see that this side kind of bulges out at the bottom. This side is a little straighter down. At least that's the way it seems to be to me. And the blade you have on here is a nice spear blade. Some will call it a drop point. I think of it more of a spear blade though. And we can see the blade edge a little bit better there. If you look closely around it, you can see that it is basically like a pad stamping. They have stamped that onto the blade. Like I said, if you want to wear it off, you can. If you want to use it, if you want to preserve it, then you're probably not going to be using the knife. This is just for the collection. I might get a second one of these and take the blade edge off of it, because this is a really nicely made knife as well. can see there, it is dropping almost straight down the middle. 440A stainless steel on these knives. If they would have put D2 on in the blade steel on these knives would have been appearing in the Rough Rider Reserve series. At least that's my opinion. This is such a well-made knife. Look at that. You see any gapping there or anything? And I know what you're saying, well, it's a sample size of one. You might have been lucky. I have well over 300 or 400 Rough Rider knives, and the build quality on Rough Rider knives is just spectacular. Now, yes, occasionally I will find one that is a true dog. I will report it, and they will send me another one to replace it. But for the most part, you know, if I buy 100 Rough Riders, I will find 2 or 3 that are not going to be great. So, you know, a 97% satisfaction rating as far as I'm concerned with Rough Rider. And no knife is perfect. You can always find faults. This is nicely penned. Man, these are smooth. The pens on these, yeah, this is great. This one, all right, this pen is a little proud. One pen is a little proud on the little Cub Lockback there. Yeah, on one side right there. That one is a little proud. All the other ones are nice and smooth. Transitions from bone to the nickel silver bolsters is fine. Transitions to the back spring, all of that is fine. Man, this is even really good. This is better than several of my other Cub Lockbacks, tell you the truth. The transition into the lock right there. Looks like they've stepped up their game on that one a little bit. You have the threading on the bolster here. It's nicely done on both knives. Yeah, this is, they're just really well made. They're great. Like I said, the edge is really more of a pad stamping. That is basically where you take and put it's like an ink stamping onto the blade, and then through some kind of process, they make it so it will stay in place using some kind of electronic process or something. I don't know what they call it, but there's a way of doing it. You see this all the time with all sorts of other products as well, when they pad stamp the blade, and it can stay on there as long as you want it to stay on there, but it is resting on top, so you can actually polish it off if you try to. I have actually used some knives with these pad stamping on there, trying to see how long it takes to wear it off. And you know, after 6-8 months of carrying the knife, using it daily and stuff, the stamping is still on there and looking just fine. Where you will see these kind of stampings most often is like on the old official Cub Scout and old Boy Scout knives. They were using something similar to this, some kind of stamping on the blade, and it would often take years for it to wear off unless you physically try to remove it. So you can physically remove it if you want to, otherwise it's going to last on there for quite some time, I got a feeling. In any case, my overall impression of both of these knives is really nice knives, and a fitting example for the 30th anniversary. Stick around in the slideshow. I'll show you the entire collection of what is in these knives, and maybe in the future I will do a better review of each knife individually, but thought I would just break these out right now and show you two of the knives that I've so far picked up for the 30th anniversary. I don't know if I'll be picking them all up, but I know I'm at least getting one more, which is the baby sunfish. In any case, with that said, I will let you go and talk to you again soon.
let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with Tobias. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.